pod moth.
Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to Watchers Podcast with your hosts, Brad and Colson.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey everybody, welcome to Watchers. My name is Brad, here with Colson Oliver.
Hello.
And we just got finished playing a game of horseshoes. I laid on the floor and with no pants on, and Colson threw candy canes at me. Because we're keeping it festive here on Watchers. And Colson...
Oh my god.
We are in for another festive episode.
We sure are.
Before we get into our review today, I have some news.
Okay.
Normally, the news that I've been sharing, or you've been sharing, is movie related and things like that. This one is more real life. Do you remember back March 11th, 2011, when Japan had a tsunami?
I do.
And at the time, there was like 19,000 people killed.
Okay.
Apparently, it's become a super haunted area.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
People have claimed that they've seen like people lining up outside where like grocery stores would have been and stuff.
Wow.
But just like ghosts standing there.
That's creepy.
Yeah. I found a news article and it was an interview with an exorcist from there.
Okay.
Which I thought was someone who just like got rid of evil spirits.
Right.
But maybe in Japan it's someone who helps spirits find their way, I guess. From the sounds of things.
Yeah, that's almost like a medium here, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what they do.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Anyway, you continue, sorry.
Yeah, so Kancho Aizawa has helped countless families deal with ghosts following the tsunami and says she has seen many apparitions herself. She explained, there are headless ghosts and some missing hands or legs, others are completely cut in half. Many of those who have been left behind believe they have seen ghosts of the dead. People were killed in so many different ways during the disaster, and they were left like that in limbo, so it takes a heavy toll on us when we see them as they were when they died. The problem of the visions of ghostly figures became so severe in certain areas that taxi drivers were in fear of picking up specters instead of living passengers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird in the sense like that it seems like everybody is sort of on board that there's ghosts there.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one person being like...
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, super creepy.
Yeah.
I've never really thought about, like, if someone's killed in a gruesome way, that's the way their body is when they're a ghost.
Oh.
But, yeah,
Weird.
freaky. All right, Colson. It's time for the scary story this week.
Okay.
This one's a short one, but a creepy one. And we've noticed with a few of these that they've been pretty effective whenever they're short. This one comes from Elizabeth Lynn. If you guys are wanting to send us a scary story, go to Watchers_podcast on Instagram and, let us know. But this one starts. I was sleeping and started waking up when I heard heavy breathing. I was about to say to my husband to quit it, but then I heard him downstairs playing video games. Then I quickly started praying to whatever it was to leave and not harm me.
Oh, man. That's classic.
Yeah.
You hear those ones all the time if it's, something like... I think we've even had one similar to that where, like, a kid was...
tugging at the mother's shirt or something, and then she woke up and the kid was standing beside her, but her kid was at her feet. Yeah, this one's very similar.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, I like it.
Me too. Thank you, Elizabeth. Like we said, Watchers_podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
Send us your scary stories, and we will read them on the show.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with our review.
On a dark night, you make a wrong turn on the highway and find yourself alone on a country road. You're unnerved, but the road is too narrow to turn around. As your tires crunch over the gravel, you turn the radio up to calm your nerves, and all you find is static. As you reach the end of the dial, you stumble upon a show you, nor almost anyone, has ever heard. Congratulations, you've stumbled upon the Lost Signal, a midnight sanctuary of terrifying audio plays to chill and fulfill. Find us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back. Colson, you ready to review Dial Code Santa, a.k.a. Deadly Games, a.k.a. Game Over?
I am.
So this one is a 6.4 on IMDb, and I'll hand it over to you to serenade us with the rundown.
So, came out in 1989, directed by René Manzor.
Yeah.
Whatever. French movie. French subtitles. I don't like subtitles. I don't like to read. But we did this one, so. I don't know any of these actors. Do you know any of them?
Not a one.
I'll list them off. If I butcher their names, I apologize. But Alain Lalane plays Thomas. Louis Decroux plays Grandpa. Patrick Florsheim plays Santa. Bridget Fossey plays Thomas's mother. And Francois Eric Gendron plays Roland.
I'm pretty sure you butchered some of those.
Could be. So the movie is an hour and a half about, and spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So the movie starts off with a bunch of kids having a snowball fight, and a bearded guy tries to join in, and they all just kind of run away, and he's left there sad and alone.
Yeah.
I will mention, during the snowball fight, a girl gets a snowball right in the fucking mouth, and it looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
She even made the face like, holy shit, like, what was that? It's like an ice ball.
Yeah, she got smoked.
Yeah, right in the mouth. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, it doesn't look like acting. It looks like she's hurt.
Here, kids, pack some ice balls and throw them. We'll film it.
Yeah.
Good times. Next we see a kid with one of the best mullets I've ever seen.
Yeah, best mullet, worst haircut.
Oh, for sure. So he wakes up in some sort of like airplane hangar. I don't know. It was very weird.
Yeah, this whole movie is so weird.
Super strange. Then I would call this a ripoff of Eye of the Tiger from Rocky.
Yeah.
It's very similar. Like, they changed like the tone of it a tad.
Yeah,
just
they're playing like a different guitar or something.
It was weird. And then the kid starts acting like Rambo. Another Stallone reference there.
He's got the bandana, like the
makeup on, and just military shit, but all plastic toys.
Yeah.
Now he seems to have one hell of a setup where he is. Like, he's playing like war, and he's got like speakers set up with gunfire, and he's got like plants in the house, and it looks like a little mini jungle.
Yeah.
And he's playing with his dog. His dog has like a radio or walkie-talkie around it.
Yeah.
And this kid's got traps, because when he catches the dog starts running down the hall, and he hits a button, and the floor opens up.
Yeah.
And the dog falls through the floor into like a safety net type thing.
This poor dog.
Yeah. very poor dog in a few minutes here. Just crazy shit this kid has. So Thomas is told by his mother to go wake up Grandpa and get breakfast. And he wakes him up very rudely. He just kind of screams at him.
Over the speakers.
Wake up! And the grandpa pops out of bed what the fuck? Grandpa, we find out, is very blind.
Yeah.
He can't even see his fork and knife or whatever at the table.
No.
They're eating croissants. We find out that the kid has a friend named Pilo or Pilo.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because they're speaking French. It just kind of shows up in the subtitle.
Yeah.
Everything that they say just blends so perfectly together. Pilo. He's a piece of shit. He tells the kid that Santa isn't real, and Thomas's mother tells Thomas that Santa isn't real to him because he's so bad that he doesn't get anything. So his parents have to buy all his gifts.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Now Thomas's mother, she leaves for work, and it's just going to be Thomas and Grandpa. I think she runs a department store. That's the feel that I got.
I think it's a toy store.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And we find out it's Christmas Eve, I believe.
The money she must make running this store to afford this house.
This house is insane.
Yeah, it's a mansion.
I would even say castle.
Yeah.
She mentions mansion, but it looks like a castle.
Yeah, from the outside, it looks like a castle. It's very confusing and almost dream-like when you're in it.
That's true.
Because they do this weird hazy camera shots sometimes.
Yeah.
There's certain parts where they zoom right out and it looks like they're in a maze.
Yeah.
There's weird layouts, some of the rooms are really angular and strange.
Yeah, that's right.
They got weird little stairs. It's so strange.
It's weird. So she's at work. She wants the cashiers to dress up. It's Christmas Eve, you got to put on a show. And she wants Santas on every corner. So that's good. Okay. Now we meet Pilo. And he and Thomas are playing. Pilo is a douche. He's arguing with him about Santa again. And they're on a computer, I think.
Yeah.
And he's instant messaging somebody who claims to be Santa.
Yeah, in 89.
Yeah, 89.
Which is impressive.
And the guy's like, hey, I'm Santa. Don't you believe me? Or whatever, all this stuff. And it's very strange. And Santa is getting weird. And we find out why Santa is being weird. Because it pans out. And it's on a street. And the guy's on some sort of weird computer in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
I didn't know this technology existed.
I didn't either.
1989.
But this bearded guy from the beginning, the snowball fight guy, he's now trying to get this kid's address. I don't know. Do shit. I have no idea what.
I'm not sure where he got this computer.
Yeah.
Because he seemed homeless.
Yeah.
At the start.
It was weird. Now the bearded guy, he walks into a department store and says that he's there for a job and if they still need Santas. So obviously he's applying to be Santa. Now Thomas, back at the house, Thomas is fixing a car with his grandfather. He's fucking underneath a car doing legit mechanic work.
Yeah, this kid's 10.
Yeah, he's 10. And the grandfather can't see anything. He's just kind of handing him tools and they get the vehicle started, and then the kid gets in the driver's seat and drives the vehicle out.
Yeah. And
the grandpa makes, hey, no, he doesn't say drifting, but essentially no weaving around the trees or whatever he says. Pretty crazy. So now it's nighttime. We cut to nighttime. Thomas is checking the house security. He's planning to catch Santa on security camera.
Yeah.
Now, out on the streets, we see people shopping, families all having fun, and the bearded guy is there. He's dressed as Santa now. He's got a horrendous beard on. It's like cotton.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It is. It's the worst.
He's waving to kids, and then he takes a little girl up on his lap, and then proceeds to rub her face a lot.
Yeah, at first he's just talking to her and he touches her face. And it's alright, that's a little weird. And then he just starts petting her face.
It's very strange. And then she says that she doesn't like his face, and he's not the real Santa.
And I don't blame her.
Yeah.
This guy has, like, wide-set eyes.
Exactly.
It looks like a chameleon,
Exactly.
like, eye on either side of his head.
Yeah. She pulls the beard off, and he fucking slaps her.
Yeah.
Like, right in the face. And then Thomas's mom ends up seeing that, and she fires him, obviously.
Yeah.
So she says, go to the thing, collect your personal shit, and get out of here. So as the Santa is going to do that, he overhears a phone call from the offices or whatever, and hears that there's a gift truck or something going to the mansion to deliver Thomas's gifts or something. And so okay, I'm going to get even with her. So, yeah, because he mentions the boss's kid or whatever.
Yeah.
So he goes downstairs to where they're loading the van up to find it, and obviously sneak there. Back at the house, Thomas and Grandpa, they're playing a game. They're talking about Santa, aliens. Maybe Santa is an alien, all this shit. Then it's bedtime, so they're going to go to bed. Next, we see the delivery guy arrive to the house. He opens up the door, and Santa's in the back. He jumps out and I guess strangles him.
It seems like he must be strangling him.
He attacks him anyway, knocks him down, knocks on the door, and we see, I guess it's the caretakers.
Yeah.
They answer the door. We don't know what happens to them. We'll find out. So at this point, Thomas is sneaking around his house, and he hides underneath like the dining room table. And he has all the security cameras on his wrist. It's an enormous contraption on his wrist.
Yeah, it's almost like the size of a keyboard.
Yeah,
with
it's
a
big.
screen on it.
And so he's planning to obviously capture Santa on film.
Yeah.
Or on the footage. And he's underneath the table, and he freezes the camera on the table. I think he had like cake or something out for Santa, or cookies or whatever it was. Anyway, he had the camera frozen there, and he's underneath it. So, back at the department store, the mother's all prepared. She's going to count all the money that night, and she calls Thomas and tells him, I'm not going to be home for a while, whatever. And he says that he's still up because he's going to try and see Santa. She warns him, if you do that, he'll turn into an ogre. I don't know what that's all about, but...
Yeah, never heard that before, but...
Anyway, she warns him, don't try to see him, just go to bed, whatever. So now, we cut back to the bearded guy who's painting his beard with, like...
spray paint?
Spray paint or frosting for windows? I don't know what it was. But it actually looked pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Because he did his hair, and then he did his beard, and he's like laughing, doing like he's spraying himself. It was weird. But it looked
creep.
Not bad.
Looked better than his eyes, though.
Yeah, that's true. So then we hear a clock ding or whatever, and we see Thomas. He was sleeping, that woke him up, and he looks over at the chimney and sees a rope fall down, and then a red suit comes down the chimney, and he starts crawling out to get a better look when his dog comes in, and the dog starts attacking Santa, and Santa is kicking it repeatedly, and then he grabs like a fork or something off the table.
It's like a cake serving knife, like it.
Yeah, one of those big flat ones.
Yeah.
And he stabbed that dog.
Yeah, right in the neck.
Right in the neck. Super sad.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Oof.
Psycho.
Hi,
that.
It's me and Jeffrey Dahmer here talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why you don't come to my house for supper anymore. Yeah, just because you have this kid... super, super excited.
Yeah.
Just seen Santa Claus, and then Santa Claus stabs his dog.
Yeah.
Murders it in front of him.
His best friend dog. Yeah, they're close.
Yeah, and you see the kid's face go from like pure joy
to
that
like
is
true.
Terrified.
It was rough.
Yeah, this Thomas kid, another great child actor.
Yeah.
But yeah. fantastic scene, even though I hate seeing dogs get hurt.
Yes. So yeah, anyway, Santa is then walking away and he sees the phone cord leading to underneath the table. And he looks down, sees Thomas. Thomas then gets up, gets away. He wakes up Grandpa, tells him what the hell happened. They run out the window and Santa kind of breaks in the room. And Thomas leads Grandpa into his, like, hidden room. They mention later on that it's like a
secret
passageway thing.
Him and his dad built.
Yeah, and not even his mother knows about it. So they escape through into the garage, into a car, and the car won't start.
That's because you have a 10-year-old doing your
mechanic
work.
They turn on the lights or something, and Santa's... Or maybe they open the garage door, and he's standing, like, right there.
Yeah.
And he walks up, and he fucking bangs on the hood, and he like, headbutts the windshield.
Yeah.
And then he grabs a sledgehammer and just starts smashing the shit out of the car. Breaks the windows and stuff. They bail out, and then they go... It's a fridge. You open the fridge, and it's a secret passageway.
Yeah.
And so they go through that, and then Santa comes in, and he doesn't know where they went. He's like, what the fuck? Looking around like, where'd they go? So now back in their... the playroom thing, or whatever, the secret passageway... the phone, they can hear a phone ringing in, I guess it's his mother's office or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Thomas is like, I'm going to go for it, I got to, whatever. Grandpa says, it doesn't matter what I do, you're going to go anyway.
Yeah.
So they have like walkie-talkies, so Thomas takes off. Now next we see Thomas's mother, she's driving home, calling the house, wondering why nobody's answering.
Yeah.
And at this point, Thomas is gearing up like Rambo again. He's got the face paint on and everything. He's stealthing around his house. And Santa is looking for anybody. And then he notices the cameras. And at that point, he smashes them. So Thomas has a stupid wrist thing on, but now it's just fuzzy cameras. So he can't, he doesn't know where Santa is. Yeah, Thomas is moving around the house, and then he finally meets up with Santa. Santa runs towards him. Thomas hits the switch that we saw at the beginning. The floor opens up, and the guy, Santa, he falls through. Thomas runs away, and this is the maze scene that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of lost in his own house. Like, it's legit like a maze.
Yeah.
Very weird. And he ends up going up into an attic. And he sees a phone there, and he runs towards the phone, but Santa's already there. I think he says, like, want me to make the call for you? Or whatever the hell he says.
Yeah.
So then Thomas, he climbs out the window, and it's like we said, it's like a castle. He's up, like, 4 stories, essentially.
Yeah.
Out on a slippery roof, and then he starts crying, calling for his mother, which was pretty sad.
Yeah.
At this point, Thomas's mother, she calls her boyfriend, who is back at the office, tells him she's worried, and he tells her to call the caretakers, and he'll keep calling the house line. So now back on the roof, Thomas is up there. He almost falls off, gets back on, hears a phone ringing in the caretaker's house. And he calls his grandpa on the walkie-talkie and says he's going to send a message on his computer. Somebody will get it. So he goes back inside, and he's got like a whole room of computers and security shit.
Yeah, this kid's like Tony Stark.
Yeah, for sure. And she does mention like he's got a high IQ or something at one point.
Yeah.
Because he is very smart.
Yeah, and like early in the movie, he's telling that Pilo,
yeah,
like I won't fix your video games for you anymore.
Exactly,
like
that's
that.
That's right. Yeah, so he goes back inside. He sends a message, and it goes to his mother's boyfriend, but he doesn't see it. It's like a fax thing that comes out.
Yeah,
and then it also goes to Pilo, and he wakes up and reads it. So, Pilo's getting involved now. Now back with Santa, he finds the fridge, the secret tunnel thing. And cuts to Grandpa, and Grandpa hears somebody coming, and he's like, Tommy? He can't see shit. It's just like a blur. It goes to his vision a few times, and you can't see anything.
No.
And you can see the red suit at this point, and Grandpa's backing up, gets cornered, and as he's about to be hit by Santa, Tommy pulls him through some hidden closet.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Another door. It's a very weird shot.
It is.
You can't really tell what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. Very strange.
Because it almost looks like they just fall backwards a little bit. It doesn't look like they're in another room.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So Santa's giving chase to them again. He's following the noise of Grandpa saying, I can't go on. He's complaining.
Yeah.
And it leads to a room. This was a cool scene.
I like
this.
Because
the guy goes into a room, and then we see a rolled-up carpet unroll, and Thomas was inside of it, and he kind of pushes the door closed and sticks a pipe in it. It was pretty cool, because I had no idea he was in that rolled-up carpet. And it just kind of unrolled perfectly, and he locked him in. And he turned something on. Do you know what it was?
Yeah, it's a sauna room.
Okay.
So it's like steam that he turns on.
I saw this shit coming out. I was like, is this gas? Is this like, what is this?
Yeah.
Anyway, that makes sense.
And for some reason, the Santa just keeps his suit on and everything in that boiling hot room.
Yes, he does. That's right. So yeah, back to the mother. She's on the phone with her boyfriend again. She says she can't get in touch with anybody. He tries to calm her down. Hangs up with her and sees the message from Tommy.
Yeah.
So Tommy's mom then calls the commissioner, which is the police, asks him to check on her mansion, and as she's doing that, she loses... I think something ran on the road, or something. Yeah. She ended up losing control of the car, crashing, getting hung up on something. So Santa escapes from the room that he was locked in. He was just shaking the door the whole time, and the handle ended up breaking free. Mm-hmm. So he gets out. Pilo arrives on his bike. Now, Thomas cut through some sort of a thing with like a blowtorch.
Yeah.
It was like a panel, and it was locked up, I guess. So he cuts through it with a blowtorch, and it's to turn off the security system. Or something, because all the window things they have like bars over the windows.
Yeah.
So when he hits the thing, they all lift up. He runs downstairs to tell like, hey, the system's back on, whatever, and he gets tripped, and Santa is there again.
Yeah.
So he got cut, I think, on his leg at this point. It may have been later.
Yeah. Either
way, he's laying there. Yeah, he has a cut on his leg, and Pilo comes in, and he goes, I wish it was English, but he says, "Scram!" He tells Pilo, "Scram!" And then Pilo's just like, "Oh shit!" and turns around and just starts running, and Santa, of course, runs after him. He almost gets him a couple times, but just as Pilo gets to like a highway or a road or something, a car almost hits Pilo, and then Santa just gives up because he's on a bike and Pilo gets away. So now back inside the house, we see that Grandpa is hiding in a suit, like an armor suit, and you just kind of hear him talking. You just see the armor thing, and you know he's in there. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
We should mention too, I never mentioned that he's a diabetic. He needs insulin. So yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. So Thomas, at this point, he's on a like a PA system in the house. Intercom. That's what they're called.
Yes.
And he says, "You'll be sorry that you came here." He's threatening Santa. Now, at this point, this bugged me a lot. Thomas is cleaning up his wound, his little cut that he had, and he's setting up traps and shit like that. Carries his dead dog down, buries it in the cellar or whatever, in the basement. But now he had like a crutch taped to his leg as if his leg was broken. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like that, like a splint or something. That's something that you do if you have a fracture or a broken leg, and all we saw was a little cut.
Yeah.
It's like...
But maybe he's just a 10-year-old kid.
It could be.
Like, and that's his... He's watched Rambo and stuff, and he's like, okay, this is what I have to do.
It just seems like, why are you going to do that to yourself? Crazy. Anyway. So, he at this point finds a tracking device, and he's going to stick it to Santa so he'll know where he is again. But this is a great part because he's hiding there and he's got a slingshot and Santa's kind of looking for him. And he puts like a rock or marble in and he shoots Santa right in the face. And it makes a great noise and Santa's like, oh, shit. And he shoots him again. And then as he turns away, he shoots this thing with Velcro on it and it sticks to his suit.
Yeah.
So he'll know where he is.
Yeah, tracker.
He's setting more traps, fishing line, darts. I don't know, bunch of shit. And then he has like a dart gun, like a rubber dart gun. He lights it on fire. He shoots it at the ground in front of Santa. The whole ground lights up. He's on fire. I don't think he's on fire, but it's all around him.
Yeah.
Anyway, we see him emptying firecrackers into like a toy grenade.
Yep.
He's gearing up.
Yeah, he's resourceful.
Yeah. So at this point, Santa comes into a room and Thomas put the grenade on a train, like a little wind-up train, and he sent it towards Santa. And I guess the plan was for when it hit, it was going to spark a fuse, and then the fuse would light the grenade.
Yeah.
Well, Santa just grabbed it, picked it up, wound it up again, turned it around, and sent it back the other way. And Thomas is watching it roll right by him, and he's like, oh no, as it's heading right towards the statue where Grandpa's hiding. And he runs to get it, and it ends up hitting the statue, lights the fuse, but nothing happened.
No.
And I guess, again, it's just a kid making weapons that don't work,
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah, and at this point, Santa grabbed him and said, your turn? Or my turn or something like that.
Yeah, my turn, I think.
And he just kind of let him go. And I was like, well, that's weird.
Mm.
Anyway, we'll get in a minute here. That may not even have been this part, but anyway, I'll find out. So Thomas's mother's boyfriend is on his way. He finds her stuck on the side of the road. And at this point, the police arrive at the mansion. And Thomas is watching the cop through binoculars. And he's got a smile on. And he runs down to tell Grandpa that they're going to be okay. But Grandpa at this point is needing his insulin. So we cut back to the cop. He's outside looking around. Santa pops up behind him and I assume kills him.
Yeah.
Thomas runs for the insulin. He forgot about the tracker that he had placed on Santa. And we see the dot getting closer to him. And Santa comes right up behind him, we think. But it's just a toy tank with the tracker stuck to it. So he obviously found it and sent the tank to him. Mm-hmm. Thomas walks out of the room, gets caught by Santa. Oh, this is the part here. So Santa says he won, then throws him down, says count to 20, no cheating, then runs off.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Thomas then goes and finds the insulin, and it's in the caretaker's place. They're both dead under the table, by the way. Or one of them we see for sure.
Yeah.
He then jumps into the cop car and starts driving away, which was weird because he got the insulin. You think he'd get it to his grandpa at that point?
Yeah, you'd think.
Anyway, he's driving down the road, calling Central for help, and Santa pops up from behind him, saying that he cheated. And then he crashes into a tree, knocking himself out. He awakes, and he runs off. He had Santa handcuffed to the cop car. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And he just pulled his wrist because they're plastic. So Santa starts chasing him again. Thomas trips over the cop that was dead, and he grabs his gun that was there, and he points it at Santa and asks him why. Like, why are you doing... And then Santa moves towards him, and Thomas shoots him, and then runs away. And now back inside, he gets to Grandpa. He undoes the thing that's holding the statue up, or whatever the hell it is. It falls down. He gets him rolled over, gets the armor off of him, shoots him up with insulin, and then beats on his chest a shitload.
Yeah.
Wake up! Breathe! As he's pounding on his chest and stomach. And then he finally starts breathing. Then we see Santa standing in the doorway, and he's coming in, hobbling around. He's bent over a little bit, shot, I think, in the stomach or whatever. Thomas backs up, like, oh no. Grandpa grabs the gun. We see his vision. You literally can't see anything.
No.
It's awful.
Like Mr. Magoo.
Yeah. He points the gun and just says, Thomas, get down! And before he finished down, there's the gunshot. Bang! So it was pretty crazy.
What an ending if he had shot Thomas right in the head.
Thomas is down. So his mother and her boyfriend, they arrive home. They go inside. She runs to Thomas, who is wide-eyed, staring at the dead Santa at this point. And he says it's his fault, meaning himself. And I just wanted to see Santa. And the end credits.
Yeah, this whole time, Thomas is sort of still thinking, like, this is Santa turned into an ogre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the weird thing that I found was Santa just playing?
Yeah.
Okay, I won. Throw you down. Count to 20. No peeking or no cheating or whatever. It's like, is he thinking this is a game of fucking hide and seek?
I think so. Yeah, because he's not like a typical bad guy.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely like mental health issues.
Right.
Is what it comes off as. Because at the start of the movie, he's like wanting to play with the kids, like play snowball fight.
Yeah.
And they don't want him there.
Exactly.
He's kind of sad about it. And then he's Santa Claus, and the little girl says, "Oh, I don't like your beard," and like makes him mad, and then then he gets fired, and I think it's like a mental health thing.
Okay.
Because I'm not entirely sure he knows what's going on.
Yeah,
himself.
it's very because there's points in the movie, like when he got shot with that slingshot in the head, he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the body count was low. It's the delivery guy, the cop, and the two caretakers. I believe that's it.
And the dog.
The dog, yeah.
JR.
The dog was...
Which I can only assume stands for Jim Ross.
There you go. So do you have a favorite?
I think the dog kills the most effective out of anything in the movie.
That's true.
You?
Yeah, I would have to say that.
Yeah. Least favorite, any of the other ones.
Any of the other ones, yeah. You don't really see much in this.
No.
We see him choking the male guy. We don't see anything happen with the caretakers, I don't think, and I believe it cuts away with the cop as well.
Yeah, there's not even much blood or anything in this movie.
Yeah, no, not any. Or a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything make you jump?
No.
No, of course not. Yeah, anything else that you have before we do ratings?
I will say, I was told this movie was kind of like Home Alone.
I have a little bit on that too.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
So that's kind of what I was expecting going in.
Yeah. And
like at the first of the movie, they even kind of has that feel to it. Like the kids running around the house playing, and he's like jumping on his grandpa. And it's like Dennis the Menace or something.
Exactly.
But then, as soon as that dog gets killed, this movie takes such a turn.
Yeah.
Like, it gets pretty suspenseful and, like, freaky.
Well, I have the quote from the director. And he said... It's not on IMDb anywhere. I had to go to Wikipedia for it.
Okay.
And it says, it is noted for its similarities to the 1990 American film Home Alone, the makers of which Manzor once threatened with legal action on the grounds of plagiarism, alleging that they had remade my movie.
That's a stretch.
That's a big stretch.
Yeah.
If I showed this to people, I don't know, if you showed it to 10 people, how many, I think maybe 2 or 1 would be like, this is similar to Home Alone in a weird way, but it's really not.
I guess most people are probably going to be like, hey, this kind of like Home Alone.
Yeah.
Just because of the traps.
Yeah.
And like someone's in the house.
But even the traps we don't see very much.
No.
Like we see him setting shit up, but we don't see the payoff of a lot of them.
And I'd like to know back in 1989, how many people were really talking about this movie?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's only become popular lately. Like, I've noticed a few people this year have done reviews of it and things like that.
Okay.
Which might be because of the Vinegar Syndrome release of the film.
Right.
That's kind of like Shout Factory.
Yeah.
Where they have special releases of movies. And because it's available on Shudder, I guess, would be the other thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, back in 1989, I'd like to know how many people were actually talking about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, a movie in France that most people probably didn't see because the internet isn't there. Like, it's not like it is now where you can see anything ever made, really.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's a stretch.
Okay.
I think that's a guy being like, hey, that movie was super successful.
Yeah.
And I'm angry about it.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Because I would even argue the one that we talked about last week, Better Watch Out.
Yeah.
Now, that obviously is not ripping Home Alone off, but it's paying homage to it more. Yeah. And, like, I would say that that's closer to Home Alone than this movie was.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I mean, obviously they do a direct scene from Home Alone involving the paint can.
Yeah.
But I think you're right with the movie Home Alone being super successful and this guy being like, hey, you know, they ripped me off.
Yeah,
and it's like
I made that movie first.
Did they? I don't know. But, yeah.
Yeah. Because even still, like, I'm not sure how popular this movie is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never heard about it until
I didn't know. Yeah, you mentioned to me, like, a month ago, like, hey, this one is apparently like a horror Home Alone movie.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, you look at subtitled, and I was like, oh, boy. Oh, no. But we did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
No. I'd like to thank Dave Stewart for lending us this film so we could watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
That was good. Good of him.
Yeah. Rating?
I want you to go first, because mine's going to be lower than yours.
That's right.
I think.
I'm going to go with a 7.
Mine's lower than yours.
I really liked it. I thought the acting was good. Mm-hmm. Another movie with a switch.
Right.
Kind of like last week as well, only this one, you kind of knew it was coming more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I really liked it.
I give it a 4, and it's not that I'm not, you know, it's not a bad 4. It's just a 4 that I'm never going to watch this again.
Okay.
That type. It was, like you say, the acting. The kid was great. Even the Santa was great. He played it well. And the grandpa, they were all good.
Yeah.
And Pilo, he fucking rolled.
Yeah.
I love that
asshole.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, and like I say, French, the subtitles, easy to read. You didn't miss much.
There's not a ton of dialogue either.
No, that's right. Yeah, because I was worried having to write shit down and watch at the same time. It was like, but it went smooth. So
yeah,
I would suggest checking it out and come to your own decision if you think it's close to Home Alone or not. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, when you post it up on Instagram, maybe we can see some feedback if people agree or disagree if they've seen it.
Yeah.
Because, I imagine it's not very popular, although nowadays it may be, so.
Yeah. Very curious.
Yeah. Spooky, you didn't do that for this one.
Spooky, scary, terrifying.
Spooky.
I'll go scary.
Okay.
Just because of the kid.
Yeah.
He does such a good job. He sort of... he seems like a kid the whole time.
Yeah, he does.
Even though he's fighting back, he's crying and stuff the whole time.
That's
he's
right.
scared.
He is scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll also let everybody know, next week, we are going to be bringing you something a little special. It's going to be our top 10 of 2020.
Yes.
This is going to be an interesting list.
It will be. We had a lot of shit canceled that we were both excited to see. But I've watched a lot of movies in 2020 this year.
Yeah.
Over 30, which is
that's a lot for you.
Crazy for me. I'm usually 4 or 5 at most.
Yeah.
So
you're usually cramming them in at the end of the years. That'll be me this year.
Yeah. So no, it'll be a fun... It's not a horror episode, although I can guarantee you that there will be a horror movie in my top 10.
Mine
too. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. So hope everyone had a great holiday. Thank you for listening, and we will see you again. Bye. That concludes our show. Hope you had fun, and if you want to subscribe, we're available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, though, please be sure to leave that coveted 5-star review. If you want even more Colson and Brad, you can check out our Facebook page by searching Watchers Podcast. Follow us on Letterboxd at Campbell Brad and Noslock88. That's Colson backwards, 88. And on Twitter at WatcherPod, and on Instagram at Watchers_podcast. Bye.